Hey guys, so today I'm going to be sharing my 2018 most disappointing reads, just books that I straight up did not enjoy for whatever reason. And when I went through making this list, I was really surprised with how small of a list I came up with, which I think is just awesome. That overall I had a pretty good reading year. There weren't too many books that I just outright detested, which is always, a good thing. In this list, I also have one DNF book. I think I had DNF'd some other books earlier in the year, but I didn't keep track of those books, so I'm not sure if there were more, but I think there were. But I'm just gonna share 5 books here. One is a DNF that I just did not like. They were disappointing to me and not worth the hype. So the first book is An Enchantment of Ravens. I just really did not enjoy this. I listened to this on audio and it's a Fae story, which I am 100% here for. The premise sounds really good. It sounds like something I would be so interested in. It's about a human living in like a fairy world, and she is an artist. She gets commissioned by this prince fairy, I guess, and things turn out poorly when she paints emotion in his eyes, because you're not supposed to have emotion if you're a fairy. It's a big no-no. And so she kind of gets kidnapped and they go basically hunting around in the woods for most of this book. But after the beginning, it really was just so boring to me. I just not interested at all in what happened. I didn't care for honestly anything. Like the characters, nothing about it was keeping me on the edge of my seat at all. I just so did not care. So this book fell really flat for me, and I'm so disappointed because it sounds like a book that I would love, but unfortunately I just could not get behind it like so many others did. Next, I wanted to mention Armada by Ernest Cline. I didn't go in with crazy high expectations for this book, but I still had like an idea that I would enjoy it because I really liked Ready Player One. But Armada just was so unbelievable to me. I couldn't believe the ending. It was all just like so convenient. It wasn't that I just didn't like the ending. I wasn't really having a good time with the whole book. Luckily, it was short. It was a fast read, but it just felt so hokey and fake to me. It's about this kid and he's in school, and then one of his video games almost seems to come to life. Like there's these spaceships that land outside of school, and I feel like that could have been so amazing, but it felt hokey. It felt like fake, like it was a joke, and I couldn't take it seriously. I have to put Caraval on this list because I just really did not care for the main character at all. I mean, that kind of completely ruined the whole story for me. Caraval is a story of these two sisters, and they kind of get pulled into this magical circus, and there's this huge game, and they keep saying over and over again, nothing is real, like it's all part of the circus. Then her sister gets kidnapped, and you're just trying to figure out like what's going on and why is this all happening to them, and why is it her sister who's the target, and just a lot of different things are going on. And yeah, I thought it sounded good. I mean, it sounds good. I was into it for the first half of the book, I would say. I really liked the writing. I really liked the Wonderland-like quality of the story. But then it just got to a point where it was just very annoying. The main character just completely ruined the story for me with just how she acted, and I couldn't stand it. I couldn't stand the love interest. 2 more to go. This one I listened to an audiobook. Actually, I'm just thinking now, 3 of these books on the list are audiobooks, so I almost wonder if it's because something with an audiobook in me disconnect or what. But the other one I listened to as an audiobook that I really did not like was Meet Cute. This has a cute kind of sounding story. So it's a bunch of short stories. They're all young adult contemporaries from a ton of different authors, and it's about the meet cute with 2 characters. So it's just the beginning part of a romance, love story, relationship, something like that, which sounds really adorable. Obviously, I love romantic comedies. I love a good meet cute, and some of these were good. I think it's just because it is just a meet cute, and I don't think it's anything bad on the writers necessarily that I had a problem with this book, but it was just more of the fact that I was ready for the story after the meet cute, and it just ends. You just get the meet cute part, and you don't get to know what happens with the characters or what their story becomes. So that was just something that I discovered that, okay, this isn't for me. I am not just a meet cute person. I enjoy a good meet cute, but what I enjoy more is just seeing how things unfold over time and what the story becomes. So really for me, the meet cute doesn't really matter unless the story is good. So I've discovered that about myself, but that was a huge disappointment. I did not want to finish listening to it. I was just getting into it and it was taken away from me, So yeah, not a big fan of that, but oh well. Anthologies are kind of hit or miss. I understand that. I just didn't like it. And the final book is the book that I did DNF this year, and that is The Glass Kitchen. So this one, I'm not too disappointed because I didn't have the highest of hopes for it. This is a book that I had actually just gotten in a library haul that I had done like a year ago at the Friends of the Library sale. And so I thought, oh hey, this looks cute. I'd seen it a couple years before and thought it looked interesting about this chef. Is she a chef? I forget. I only read 70 pages of this book, so I can't even really say what exactly happens, but there's this girl, I think she's a chef, and her grandmother or mother or all of them have passed away, and she's moving to New York City. She's trying to really find herself again, and she has this weird magical ability where she can sense what a person most needs in food form. So she can just be waking up and she'll all of a sudden just say, oh, I need to make chocolate cake, and then she'll find out later that this person was coming over and they had a really bad day and they needed chocolate cake. Something like that. It's a really bad example, but she has this weird magical gift. It was really corny. It just was so cringy. And then they started introducing a love interest that was so cringy. I just couldn't. I couldn't read anymore. I was not enjoying myself. I didn't want to know what was going to happen with that romance. I didn't care about her weird little magic thing. It just, yeah, it was not something I could continue with. But if you have actually finished the book, just let me know if it was worth reading, because I mean, I'm not going to pick it up again, but I'm just curious what you thought of the book as a whole. All right, so that wraps up my most disappointing reads of 2018. Like I said, I'm really happy that this list is so short, and I feel like 2019 is going to be a good year too for reading. Hopefully my disappointing reads for next year will be as small as this or even smaller. But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching, and happy reading.